What's going on, everyone? How y'all doing tonight? Welcome to this week's episode of Crafting Endyr's Dungeon. We are currently on week 5, and that means that we are on floor 2. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, well, it's been about a month, so if you didn't catch the first episode or the second one where I explained it, and I think the third one where I also explained it, basically there is this challenge for the entire year of 2023 known as Dungeon 23. Concept is that every day you write a room, and then at the end of the year you have a 365 room 12 layer 12 floor 52 sector, however you want to do it, mega dungeon. This was proposed by a game designer on Twitter by the name of Sean McCoy, who worked on the, I believe it was called the Mothership RPG, and we've been going at it. Now, our particular dungeon, there's a lot of different styles out there, but our dungeon in particular is based on this powerful mage by the name of Endyr. And Endyr wanted to prove that nobody was powerful enough or worthy enough to obtain his greatest treasures. So he buried them deep within the depths of this treacherous tower, this massive mountain. He placed everything down inside. And so now adventurers seek to claim Endyr's greatest treasure, that which has never been seen before. Some even say it may not exist. It's possible. But there are still the ever-present attempts. And why is this not connecting on my phone? Yeah, there we go. It's much better. But yeah, so like I said, that's what we've been working on for quite some time now. Like I said, an entire month. But you know, we're done with floor 1. I guess I should bring that up here. There we go. There's floor 1. And you know, this is floor 1. This is the heavens. So each sector, every 7 rooms is a different sector, and each one based on some different aspect of heavens and space in general. That was kind of my interpretation of the heavens. So you start out with the stars, where every room is based on a constellation. You have the second sector, where everything is very cold and frigid, and I wanted that to embody, you know, when you go into space, granted there's a lot of radiation, like that is actually a legit thing, like one half of your body burns and boils, the other half freezes. Or at least is proclaimed, but space is cold. Like, there is no doubt about it. Space is cold. Space is also dark. It's very dark. It's very empty, and there's nothing that allows sound to propagate in space. So there's also pure silence, and that is what we're going to be working on. Actually, I just noticed there's an update to Dungeon Scrawl. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. They added lighting to Dungeon Scrawl. I wonder if that'll work with my map. I don't know if it's going to mess anything up. I hope it doesn't. It's taking a hot minute to load. This map is pretty chunky. So, ugh. There it goes. Oh, so slow. Now I personally have no real intention of adding like a bunch of lighting to this. There we go. By the way, for those wondering, if you are interested in Dungeon Scroll, that is the program I use to make these awesome looking maps. If you wish to try out Dungeon Scroll, just understand that I am a paid member for this. I pay monthly for my subscription, so I get access to certain features early. So if you go to jump into this and you want to add lighting, just understand that may not be a thing for you unless you pay for it. So I just want that to be clear. Oh, look at that. Okay, so everything. I'm so scared, actually. Oh, that is so slow. Okay, you know what? We're gonna turn lighting off. Because what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna start a new map today. Look at that. I'm sure over here, it would probably work a lot better. But we need to add a dungeon first. So we're gonna add a new layer, and I believe this is the one that I was using on the other one. So we have our background, we have our dungeon layer, and you know what? Just to see how this works, let's just add a quick 10 by 10 room. We'll add some walls in it, and maybe add a I guess you know, oh wait, you know what, wow, can do it that way. But I know there's also stuff like this, like a large pillar. I wonder if this can work with the light. I'm just curious. Like I said, I'm just wanting to see how this light works. So we're just gonna make a little quick room here, nothing crazy, and then we're gonna go to light, and we're gonna add a light. Okay, so it looks like this. Yeah, that's how it itself is. So it doesn't look like, I wonder. So let's add it to the light layer. Can I add it to the light layer? Curious. No, it's its own thing. Okay. So I don't like how the light's kind of invisible unless you like are actually on it. All right, so we got different strengths. That's cool. So radius is still, I'm assuming that's 400 pixels. Okay, let's crank it up the whole way. So how big is that? What is that area? Wait, we need to be on here. So that's 10. Okay. Why? I am selected. I'm selected on light. Is this on? Can I delete this? Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know why that wasn't letting me select, but it's okay. All right, so that goes out to 10, so that's 400. And then that keeps it. Okay, so still super dim, but it does extend that's bright. Okay, so yeah. I mean, that's, I'll tell you what, that's hella nice. I mean, it's simple, but you know what? It works. Yeah, honestly, that's really nice. Like if you were designing if you were designing a very basic room where like maybe you wanted to have a just like a house, you know, something small, somebody comes in and in there's like a little dividing wall, and like you know, you have something super simple. Let's I know it's in here. You know what, let's just not play around too much here. Yeah, perfect, fireplace. It's actually exactly what I was looking for. So, you know, put a fireplace right here. You put a bed up here. I actually think these are new tokens too. You know, you have your bed up there. Maybe you have a chest at the foot of the bed. You know, have a door that's locked right there leading to the bedroom. Have an open door right here leading into what is probably the kitchen. You know, so if that's the case, you probably have a table, you know, maybe up against this wall, like a prep area. In here, having just some basic furniture. I know that there's like chairs and stuff in here. Yeah, so like in here, you know, you have a couple chairs. And then we'll say maybe up in this over in this kitchen, maybe next to this small table, we'll have like a small table right here, and then I want to add what would essentially be an oven. So we'll say we have something like that, maybe like a long shelf that has a bunch of stuff in it. So now we want to add a fireplace light. So we'll put that in there, and we'll maybe make this a little bit more orange. There we go. So it's still about the same. I think it's the same. Oh, you know what? That's because I'm not changing that one. I want to change this. Aha, look at that. So there we go. So we got a nice like orange glow from the fire. There we are. Yeah, we want to add that door. So there we go. So then we'll also add we'll add one that's a little bit more red. You know, that'll be coming from the stove. Maybe that one's not nearly as bright. You know, we'll crank that down. We'll lower that. Maybe it's just ever so glowing out of the insides. And so there you go. You know, that's super simple. I don't like this. I don't like this. Did it do that on the other map? Is that why this other map takes so long to respawn now? Because every single item is its own layer? Oh my god, that's exactly it. Holy shit. That is exactly it. Wow. I don't know if they had to do that in order to allow the light to work. Yeah, that's gonna crash my page. Oh no, there it goes. Yeah, no, it's all under the images. shit. Yeah, because like we can turn that off and on. This other one though, like everything's its own thing. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna do... Yeah, it's like each one... Oh, you know what? Holy shit. That is because you can actually have, like, the geometry of the door affecting... I'm assuming affecting the light. Holy hell. Okay, that's kind of crazy. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I have no intention of using any of the lighting stuff. It's not really my shtick. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this new dungeon layer. We're gonna add an images layer. Any of our images are gonna go into there. But we're gonna start on we're gonna start on floor 2 today. So we're just gonna add this here like we did before. Let's bump this up to something like 64. So we got Endyr's Mega Dungeon. Should we crease that out? Go. And we'll just copy and paste that. Grab this. And put that in here. And this is going to be floor 2. And I'm going to call this the Primal Elements. No, you know what? We're just going to go with the elements. I think that's perfectly fine. So floor 2 elements. And this is specifically Sector 1. Where is the selection for this? Just non-existent. Sector 1, fire. Yeah, let's bump this up to like 40. There we go. Now I'm not gonna lie. This past week was a long one for me, and I really didn't get a whole lot of time to work on this. There was a couple days that I actually I had to kind of like just skip over and really didn't have time to work on it. So I think it turned out okay. I did change 2 major things because I actually already submitted and put up on my Discord. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, it's right there above us, or it's below and you can click the link. I changed it actually. I changed it a little bit, some of the wording and actually how it's going to be segmented out. So to give you an idea of what floor 2 sector 1 fire is looking like now, I moved away from it being essentially the same like sector effect as cold, where cold was that it's negative 50 degrees, and every time you enter a room or every hour within, you must make a con save to stave off exhaustion. I had that essentially be just the same thing, where it was extreme temperature and like you're dealing with that same exact thing. So I changed that because I felt like, for one, it was just kind of cheap, which I don't mind being cheap, but you know what? If I can actually make it something, I want to make it something. So what I did is, this whole floor is influenced by rifts to the planes, to the elemental planes of chaos. So this one is, there is a rift to the elemental plane of fire. And that is actually held in, or held underneath, this large pool of lava. And the rooms kind of are built around it. It's more like a circular path that the players will take. So unlike my other ones where there was maybe a couple branching paths or there was a couple options that you could choose from, this one is very much a little bit more linear. I'm so afraid to jump over to this other map because of all the changes. Hopefully it goes to this one every time we load, or I might just have to make a new file from this. But the way that this sector works is there are pools of lava and these superheated rock floors throughout the chamber. So anyone who touches the pools of lava takes 8d6 fire damage. Like if you fall into it, if you're pushed into it, if you jump into it, you're taking a ton of damage. And with the superheated floor, anyone who starts or enters that area or starts their turn on superheated rock must make a con save or take 1d6 fire damage. So this will play into effect later on, because the way that the chamber, I actually kind of designed a lot of this as a big group rather than room by room, again, because I was kind of working with this particular sector in big chunks. Instead of day by day, it kind of worked out like this. But so the first one, everything's volcanic walls. So it's kind of like inside of a volcano or a mountain, much like the cold area was supposed to look like it's inside of a glacier or inside of like an icy mountain. But in this first chamber, there are it's this solid walkway, but there's superheated rock on the side, and there are statues embedded in the walls that shoot fire across. So you have to make some dex saves in order to avoid that. There's also trigger plates along the path. So players have the option to either, risk setting off those trigger plates and making a dex save to avoid taking some damage, or risk going around and making a con save to avoid the superheated rock floor. The next room is going to be a very large room that has some pathways around it. There is a huge fire elemental that exists within this pool of lava. That will come into play at the end. The next corridor, it kind of like curls around. Everything goes like counterclockwise in a sense. There are flaming slimes, and like if you what inspired me was from the Zelda games, the choo choo jellies, and there's ones for like different elements. So there's the ones that are the flaming the flame ones. Let me see. Fire choo choo. There we go. Yeah, so something like this, like little fire jelly creatures. They're adorable. They can burn you. There's also ones for different elements. So there's the standard one. There's lightning. There's ice, and there's fire. So they're really adorable. You can also, like, when you hit them, they split. So they're very much like slimes or jellies in the in D&D, like gelatinous cubes and whatnot. But immune to fire can be split up. Those are from Zelda. Yeah, those are from Breath of the Wild. But technically, like, these are the older versions of the choo-choos from like older Zelda games. But from the Breath of the Wild series, that's what these guys are. And like they're huge. And then you hit them and they split up into different parts. So you gotta like keep going at them. And that's actually what this is basically, the idea of. There's going to be jellies. There's going to be like one big one in the corner. And it won't be provoked or attack any of the players until the ones that are clung to the ceiling come down. At that point, the one in the corner will attack. But that one is actually going to be in the lava. So the next room is a series of stepping stones, and if you remember from the last time, this is actually where I had room 130, was a series of stepping stones with jettisons of fire. So what this one is basically there's these two platforms that are held out in the pools of lava. There's some chains connecting them, and you have to jump from one to the next. Now, you can help your allies by like standing on one, but if you do that, you risk them pulling you in, because if one person fails, you both fall. I also have it where if there's too much weight on one platform for too long, so it's 2 rounds, it starts to slowly sink and pull the other ones down into the lava. So it's more of a timed essence and making sure that you pass those checks. The next room is a room with pools of lava that contain magma octopuses. I had it pulled up before, and I forgot to save it, but magma octopus are from the Tome of Beasts 2. Here we go. Yeah, my list. So we have magma octopuses, very cool looking creatures. They're going to be hiding in these pools of lava, and when players get within 10 feet of them, they're going to reach out with their tentacles and hit them. But because of a series of connective tunnels underneath each pool that brings them all into one, they can move from pool to pool. So I really like this. They have these they have these really cool tentacle attacks, but they are lava bound. So like they really do just need to kind of stay in lava, but they can swim through lava, and I love that. This is such a cool monster, and I love the Tome of Beast stuff. It's really good. The volcano snails. Yeah, and that was a thing that I have coming up actually. So the next room is a room where the floor is completely superheated rock, and there are 2 fire snails in there. Now, whenever I was first figuring on doing fire snails, I actually so my plan, if I were to actually run this, would be to run them as flail snails. I have used these in other games. They are technically elementals, but they don't actually have like a fire element to them. And basically what I would have it be is that instead of it having the scintillating shell that can stun creatures, it would have this like flare up, this like magma burst where the shell kind of explodes out. Because the thought that I had for a fire or a magma snail of some kind, like a volcanic snail, is that its body is made of magma and the shell is just hardened magma on it. So it's that like almost like glass-like material. Well, when it gets it could either be upon its death, it could just be as like a, once per so many, like a once per long rest thing, it can explode its shell out, and that basically works like a fragmentation grenade. Deals some fire damage, some bludgeoning, maybe thunder damage, considering that's like percussive. The one thing that I would do with that, though, is if it was submerged or doused with water, it would immediately get that ability back. I want to say, yeah, this has something similar, this magma burst, but like I said, I really like the idea of like a flaming snail kind of a thing. I also added this blister coil weird, which is from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. it's nothing like crazy, but I love the look of this thing. It's so fucking cool looking. Oh yeah, and then the Burnling. So I had thoughts of these. These are from Stibble's Codex of Companions. I had thought about adding in them in the last room. Decided against it. Decided to go with Magma Mephits because I love Mephits. I think they're very, very simple, but like very simple yet effective monsters. For one, everyone kind of just like doubts them. They have a very low AC, fairly low hit points. They're not that strong. They're also not a very high CR, but for one, when they attack you, they're dealing slashing and fire damage. They have a fire breath, and whenever they die, they explode, creating an AoE of fire damage. So you can also have them do this variance, which I always generally run this when I run Mephits. Come on, there we go. I often run Mephits with this variant where it has a 25% chance of summoning 1d4 Mephits of its kind. Now, the cool thing with that is that you can base it on its death. So have its death burst. Basically, you roll a 20, or you roll a D100, and if you get over a 25, guess what? There you go. You get you get an additional Mephit. So this thing explodes, and then a giant chunk of it hits the ground, and up comes another Mephit. And if you have them chain into one another, you can just do this. Like if 4 of them explode, okay, we're getting 2 that actually work. So we just got another 6. So this is one of those things where it's like a very easy way to kind of ramp up the challenge against some minor creatures, because it's very easy to kill them, but it's not that easy to like stop them. And it's one of those things where maybe this will convince the players, hey, maybe fighting them isn't our best bet. Maybe we just get out of here. Also, Magma Mephits can cast Heat Metal once a day. And Heat Metal is great, especially when you have players with metal armor, because you're just burning them alive. So yeah, the last room, this is actually where the Magma Mephits would be. So it's a room of superheated, it's a superheated bridge leading to a set of magma gems. So in this particular floor, I'm going to have one central room. So technically this will be an extra room that's not accounted for, unlike in the other one where the central room was room number 7. This is going to be just more the landing zone. There is a pathway down continuing through the mountain, and what this allows, what this is going to do is every chamber is going to have these gemstones, and you need to place a gemstone into this socket of some kind, and that'll allow you to descend to the next level. But you need all 4. You need water, air, and earth. And each one of them is going to have its own, it's obviously going to be its own sector. And that's kind of where we need to, where we're going to end up really starting when we design this. We just need to have that central chamber. Now, the big reason why I wanted to do this, and I believe I brought it up, the last time that we talked about this, but the idea that I had continuing on down through the dungeon was to have each one of these not be locked behind having to enter the dungeon. I don't want to have to keep bringing up the other one like that. So give me 1 second to just bring up the, here we go. I should be able to open up this window. Explore room maps. No. Maybe? Don't know where that is. All right, so let me just... Oh, wait, I know what I can do. Don't want that in there. Nope. There we go. All right, so this is the original map. This is the first level. And I brought this up before, and this is why I kind of said I wanted to change this as we went along. So this is the original map. This is the first one that we worked on. So the way that this one works is that the players actually start here as they climb to the top of the mountain. And honestly, if I was actually running this, I might make that like, you know, part of the journey. Maybe like the first 2 levels of the adventure is actually just getting to the mountain. Like, you know, maybe there's trials to get up to it or something like that. But whatever the case may be, this is where everything starts. And in order to get into this room, in order to get into this this central room, you need to get the key that's in room 6. Over here is also where that phoenix feather is, so that's more just like of an item. But in here, you need to fight the Gorgon, or you need to fight the bull, then you need to fight the Gorgon, and then once you do that, that will give you the first key to open up this hatch. Then you need to go forth and get the key that's in the cold area and the darkness and in silence, and you can do it in any order. Like, you can do any one of those 3. It doesn't actually matter. The rooms are just numbered based on the day that they are, and after this I'm gonna have to start numbering the rooms like 129, 131, 21, stuff like that. It's actually because I decided to go with this build that I want each one of these to have this like central dodecahedral core room, where this is where you're coming down into this area, and this is where I could even stage, like, maybe there's a friendly NPC in there who can offer you items. Maybe there's a vendor in there, you know, somebody that's just like enchanted. It could be some elemental that is in there because we're on the plains or on the floor of elements. So maybe somebody that can offer advice and stuff like that. So, and you can also go up. You can always leave the dungeon technically, but this is how I kind of want to structure everything. So we're gonna see which way it goes: north, south, east, west. I don't know. I'll probably just go south. Maybe, I don't know. You know what? Actually, I might just go off to the left, like kind of have it over here is what I'm thinking. I don't know. But the first thing I got to do is I really got to design the rooms, because then I can actually do it. You know what? No. We're going to do it differently. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're actually going to design the rooms up here, and then we'll move the chunks down, maybe. The reason why I'm doing this is because, like I said, I kind of worked on how these rooms were going to be together. So that's what I actually want to get at. So the first thing I want to do, hi Beauregard. You guys can just barely see my dog there. He's in the darkness. There is his little face. Aw. He wants to cheese it. That's actually why he's up here. No other reason, but that he wants a cheese it. So we're gonna actually just do these as alcoves, kind of like we did before, and bump that up to a 2, and we'll put it right there. Put that one there. Put that one there, and put that one over there. All right, so again, this is going to be, they're each going to be their own different areas. Can I? Yeah, that is. All right, so I actually want these to be rough. So let's. Okay, so. How do I do this? So my envisionment with this, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna draw this down here, how I envisioned it as I was designing it, and then we'll move it. That'll work. All right, so the main thing that I thought of was having like a large central room, and have that be where the giant the giant fire elemental is. Let's do something like that. And then in here, the idea that I had was like, move that down a little bit. So I want there to be an area over here that, nope. No, I gotta make that a little bigger. There we go. I don't like how that looked out. Okay, you know what? I don't know how best to do this, actually. Because I kind of want like the magma pool to be in the middle. Where this might be too big. I think I made that too big. All right. Yeah, that's better. I would say that was way too big. All right, so here will be the lava. And shit, I don't like how that looks. I don't have any way of doing lava. Do I? Is there something I can use in here? Oh. Oh wait, it's just white. Oh. Oh, you know what? That kind of works. I actually don't hate that. How could I do what I wanted to do, though? See, this part I didn't really think through. I guess if I like make this, That's shitty. There's fire, but fire doesn't really do what I need it to do. This is more difficult than I thought with this, and I really didn't think this through. Oh. I don't really care for that. I'm struggling with this. You know what? Hold on. Let's do it this way. Let's do it with walls. Yeah. Dash. What the fuck is this thing doing? Oh. I don't hate that. I don't like it, but I don't hate that. Okay, so yeah, why don't I... What's up? Z7NGY. I don't know what to call you, man. Call you a mouthful. That's what I call you. Aha, this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay. I don't really... I'm not exactly thrilled about that, but that's probably the closest that I can do. It's Zingy, but I put the 7 because of my league name. Nice. All right. Well, welcome, Zingy. Thanks for hanging out. All right, so we're gonna add a chamber like this, because this is where I want there to be the superheated floor. But look at that. How does that? Oh, I'm so happy that that works. Yeah, so this is gonna be in place for that superheated floor. We're gonna have that over here, and we're gonna have it over here as well. How you doing tonight, Zingy? What? Yeah, my dog wants for someone to watch do D&D building my own campaign, so I need someone I can steal ideas from. Welcome. Welcome. Please, I steal everything. I am a thief. You know, as they say, every great artist is just somebody who knows how to steal without going to jail, or some phrase like that. So yes, welcome. You are, as Stacy said, you are in good company. All right, so in this room, this is kind of where I'm imagining the party entering this particular sector. So this is just going to be normal ground. These areas are going to be that superheated ground where if you start your turn there, or if you enter that area, you're going to take superheated, you know, or you're going to take that fire damage. But there's also statues in that area. So let's find a good token here. There we go. So these will be spread across that area. You're going to kind of be embedded up in this wall, and they shoot across. And there's going to be pressure plates in the center. My group has a bunch of D&D virgins, so I'm doing a baby's first campaign for them right now when I'm working on a longer one. Dude, excellent. I will, what kind of campaign I'm working? So, actually not working, excuse me. Actually not working on a campaign, per se. So, what I am currently working on, if you have not heard of it, is my Dungeon 23 dungeon. So this is a year-long project that was first suggested by Sean McCoy on Twitter, who is one of the designers of the Mothership RPG system, where the thought process is 365 rooms, so one room every day. You just write some prompt, and it could be something as simple as, you know, 2 orcs and 25 gold. It could be something, you know, like with this particular room up here, a room with letters on the floor that must be stepped in a particular order. However you want to do it. If you want to do where maybe every week you design a room, you know, and then at the end of the year you have 52 rooms for a nice decent sized dungeon, you know, or if you want to do it sporadically and just have, you know, things here and there. The whole thing is just about doing something, having some creative outlet in order to just do it. So what we're working on tonight is floor 2, as this is week 5. We have moved on from floor 1, which I have a picture here. This is Endyr's mega dungeon. This first floor has 4 different sectors, each one of them based on a different aspect of the heavens. So we have stars, the cold, darkness, and silence. And now we're moving on to the elements. So we're going to have a sector that is all fire. That's what we're working on tonight. Next week, we will be working on the water sector, which I dread. I had big aspirations for it, and I kind of had to hedge some of those. And then we're going to work on air, and then we're going to work on earth. So, and then from there, who knows? I don't know what the next sector or the next floor holds, but we will see when that time comes. But yeah, we are currently working on designing the map itself for this particular sector. If you've never heard of this tool, if you are looking to make your own maps, this is a program called Dungeon Scrawl. It is free to use. There are some tools that I have with it because I pay for a premium subscription to it, so keep that in mind. Stuff like saving it, the dark theme, being able to have multiple maps, I believe, is premium. So if you are considering it, just keep that stuff in mind. End boss of this place is the Fire Lord. Actually, we'll get to that. The end boss of this place is going to be a giant fire elemental. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Oh, nice. Yeah, you used Dungeon Scroll. That's awesome. I only just started using it whenever I started this project, so all right, so this is kind of how I envisioned it, because like I do want to have like branching paths. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this area up. Because then my thought was, nope, come on. There we go. So in here, there's going to be a large pool of magma. Down in this area. And this is where the fire jellies are going to be. going to cut this in a little bit more. There we go. I kind of want to restrict the player's movement just a bit. I mostly do map interiors for building. I haven't done a ton of dungeons. Hoping this next campaign will be like... I'm hoping this next campaign, though, will be like Are you saying that you hope that the campaign will last 3 to 4 months? Oh, this wall's kind of bothering me. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm sorry. I'm kind of taking the piss with you there. I've never had a campaign that I have ran not last longer than 6 months. In fact, only one. I don't even consider it a campaign. I had like a semi-campaign that lasted about 6 months. I'm currently in the process of running 3 campaigns. One has been going on now for let me see here. About 2.5 years. My other campaign has been going on now for coming up on 2 years. So I have a campaign called Phandalin 5 that's been 2.5 years, and my Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign is now coming up on its 2-year anniversary in 1 week. Actually, 1 week to today is the 2-year anniversary of Rime of the Frost Maiden. And then I'm also running another campaign that I run at a local library that just actually hit their 7 months session 16. So yeah, I guess it's crazy. I mean, different people run different kind of campaigns, and you know, that's one of those things I sometimes just don't think of. The one we're doing right now, I think we're on session 5 or 6, and my players are nearing the end. I'm fairly new, though, to being... no, that's fine. I get that. The first campaign that I actually ran was... the very first campaign that I ran was a year. So... I was brand new to the system, to like the whole idea of D&D. My friends and I had talked about playing it, and I was the only one that was like willing enough to take on the role as DM. So I ended up excuse me. I ended up DMing for them for about a year, and it was based the game that we played was actually based on a book that I had read as a child, that I really liked, and I very much steamrolled my players through it. Like it was less of a D&D campaign and more of a, I really liked this book series, so I'm going to make you guys play it. You know, it was what it was. But yeah, I've gotten beyond that. But yeah, dude, I mean, that's... Everybody starts somewhere. So, good for you, for at least, you know, being comfortable with your limits. Played a lot of D&D, just never the one running the games there. Always got to start somewhere. But yeah, I mean, I'd be more than interested to hear about that. Say if you right above me, link to my Discord channel. If you want to join, there are good people in there that are actually working on campaigns right now. Some folks that are working on different adventures. Some folks working on their D23 stuff, their Dungeon 23 things. So if you're interested to chat with some like-minded folks, feel free to join us over there. And also Glenn's there. I mean, you can't beat that. All right, so there we go. And onto the room with the magma octopuses. Oh yeah, I should have also said, if you want to join the Discord, there's also a there's a link right below me. Guess I could have done that as well. All right, so how am I going to represent magma pools in here? Ooh, actually, I kind of don't hate this. You know what? I think what I would end up doing, like if I actually ran this, I'd probably throw this in some kind of like just basic photo editor in order to just make this area look like magma, because that's kind of the idea of it. Oh shoot, I also need to do this. I wanted to have these on dashed. I need more dashes. So I need to have this lowered to like 4. Too small. There we go. Oh, nice. Thanks for joining the Discord, buddy. Yeah, like I said, there's some good people in there where we've been helping each other out. Nacho has been working hard at his campaign, so definitely a good group of people in there that you can talk to. Oh shit, this is fuck these. This is exactly what I had in mind. Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I had in mind. For the superheated ground. Okay, let's... That rotated right. There we go. Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. I wish I could have it between layers. I mean, right now I'm working on some location notes because the idea is the players are going to find this sorceress that cast a world-ending spell, because she might know how to reverse it. Nice. Okay, let's get rid of these. I might need those later, but for right now, we'll live. And I need to make this next room is gonna be All right. So this whole area. Shit. This whole area is going to be covered in these. And I don't know how best to do that. I actually might use that other texture. I don't even know where it went. There it is. Foam B. Water waves will come in handy next week. Come up with my own stuff, but half the time I steal stuff online. Oh, I think that still counts as timbering. Imagine I stick to a written module. I play by the rules when it makes sense. But I learned very quickly that I forget a lot of the rules when I'm DMing. So I'm like, yeah, that'll work. Hey, you know what? Dude, that is the whole thing about being a DM is just, sometimes you just gotta say, fuck it. You know, you just gotta tell your players, like, yeah, this works. Yeah, it works. You know, or it doesn't. Sorry. And then, you know, if they disagree with you, say, okay, hey, look, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it after the game. You know, put a stake in it. Remember it. You know, meet me after the game, and we'll talk about it. I do that if it comes down to it. Like, I messed up with my rogue and his disengage, and it's too late to tell him now, so his disengage is a little beefed up. What do you mean? How'd you beef up his disengage? I'm very curious to hear about this. We'll say, I thought disengage gave him 10 feet of extra movement, but that's dash. So now whenever he gets... Well, dash would give him, depending on his race and anything else, would give him just double his movement. But, I mean, hey, maybe, you know, maybe you make it, maybe you make it an ability. He's a tiefling rogue. All right, so, I mean, with a tiefling, you know, you're going to have 30 feet of movement. I mean, that's base, 30 feet of movement. So when he dashes, he's going to double his movement. So, you know, you're not actually giving him so much. In fact, I have a house rule in my games. I don't know if I could pull up my entire list. I used to have it. Oh, here it is, D&D house rules. So this is actually all of my... oh, that's gonna fuck that up. These are actually all of my house rules. And I have one that is called Quick Step, where you can use a bonus action to move an additional 5 feet, and when you hit 13th level, that becomes 10 feet. I might just run disengage like that from now on because it's kind of cool, but it makes him harder to hit. You let your 100% easiest solution to that, give it to your enemies. Or give it to the enemies. Make your monsters also disengage and gain extra movement. That aspect of you gave it to your players, now give something like that to your monsters, and it's balanced. Now, obviously, you don't want to make it where you're giving your monsters a bonus action dash. I mean, a bonus action disengage. You don't want them to have the exact same setup where like everybody can stab somebody and then beef it out 40 feet. But if a monster wants to disengage, giving them that extra 10 feet of movement so it gets them outside of most effective melee ranges, I don't see an issue with that. That then gives your rogue something on top of everyone else. They can then be the one who hunts somebody down, who can actually have that speed to chase them down. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at all. Funny enough, I actually in a sense beefed up my barbarian in my library game just the other day, this this past Saturday, because my players were in a situation where there's this well in the encounter that I ran, and in that particular encounter, actually I can bring it up in here. So essentials kit, the woodland manse, here we go. So basically in this room, there's this giant well, and in that well is this thing called the Gulfius tree. And the tree really does nothing. It's a huge plant, but it can spawn vine blights and twig blights and stuff like that. So, you know, you can get some like monsters out, needle blights as well. And I mean, they're cool little monsters, but technically it only happens on the blood moon, which is kind of boring in my opinion. So I just kind of have it, you know, I just had them. If they interacted with the tree in any harmful way, it was going to spawn these things. So one of the players threw a vial of fire down in. It then spawned out all these needle blights and vine blights and stuff. So, you know, the players had to fight them. Well, one of my players afterwards, in another room in the manse, there's this cauldron of fire. There's this brass brazier that a half-orc is doing this ritual in. So I didn't really think anything of it, but he said, you know, he wanted to take the fire that was in there because it was still burning and wanted to dump it down the well. So he did. And funny enough, in that particular adventure, I introduced a monster that if you go into the D&D and chill channel in the Discord, and scroll up, you'll see these little things called ember mites. I actually introduced them to those players in that adventure, where there's these little charcoals, these little elemental charcoals, and they were in there. They were actually the thing that this half-orc was using to stoke his fire, was these little ember mites. But there was also something else in there, and I didn't know what it was. You know, I make shit up as I'm DMing. So when he dumped this brass brazier down into that well, I was like, you see these little like charcoal bits, and they you can hear these little screams as they fall down in, and I was like, but you feel like as you're hefting this brass brazier around, it feels unnaturally heavy. And as you dump this thing out, all of a sudden you hear this, like you feel that weight gone, and you see this almost looking glass metal orb fall down into the well. And then you hear this loud thunk at the bottom. And so I didn't know what it was. I thought he was just gonna be like, oh, that's, you know, whatever that thing is. But he's like, I need to go down there and see what that is. And, you know, it's a very small well, and it's filled with this tree. So I'm like, it's gonna take you a while to actually climb down into there. Well, while that was happening, when he made that choice to climb down in, the rogue has a possum companion that she can see through its eyes. It's a find familiar. And so he asked to take the possum with him, just more like in order to carry the torch. So when he was going down, the barbarian stood over this well, and they were looking at their character sheet. And the barbarian has this ability. Yeah, if you describe anything, players will want to interact with it. That's very true. But my player was looking at their character sheet, and barbarians have this ability called Danger Sense that gives you advantage on dex saves against things that you can see. So it's a passive. It's kind of like a passive ability. You just get advantage on things you can see. And Primal Path Primal Knowledge, which is an optional feature from Tasha's, gives you proficiency in a skill of your choice. Well, they chose Perception. And when the paladin, it was the paladin going down into this well. When the paladin was going down in, the barbarian said, "Can I use my danger sense to see if I can tell if there's anything hostile down in the well?" And I thought about it for a second. I was like, well, that's not really how that works. And I kind of explained how it worked. And she's like, she's like, I don't know. I kind of thought with like my primal knowledge being perception, if that could work with my danger sense, and I could like sense things that are around me that might, that could be danger. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Yeah. Like, let's fucking do this. It's like Predator vision in a sense. So we made up a new mechanic right then and there, that as an action, this barbarian can use Danger Sense. They make a perception check, and based on that perception check out to a range of 30 feet, they are able to sense if any creature or anything in general poses them an immediate threat or is hostile to them. Now, there is an ability, or there's a spell called Find Traps, which is that you sense traps within 125 feet. So I kind of explained it like that, where I was like, you can sense them, and you know that they're going to cause you harm, but you can't really tell exactly like what they do. You just know that this is a thing that could that is going to present you danger and like be some harmful effect. And she was, so she used it. She rolled her perception check. I think she rolled like a 17 or an 18. And I said, okay, you peer down inside of here, and as you're looking, do they know where they are, or just it's just that, so because they can kind of see anything within 30 feet, this particular character is a dragonborn, so they have dark vision out to 30 feet, 60 feet, because they're one of the newer dragonborn. So they can kind of see that stuff, and it's basically just having that intuition of like seeing a creature and knowing that that creature is hostile, or seeing something on the wall, like a hole on the wall, and knowing, oh, that's dangerous. Like, this is not just like a normal hole in the wall. This is going to shoot out a dart or a spike or gas or fire or something. Like, this is dangerous. And it's not so much like a weapon of warning, because a weapon of warning is very specific, that you have advantage on initiative rolls and you can't be surprised. So, and it also wakes you up. This is more, which is all very passive abilities. This is more of an active thing where they are tuning into that innate danger sense and perceiving their immediate surroundings to say, okay, this thing that we are looking at can hurt us and will if we do something. And again, what those specifics are, that's up to the players to figure out. If it was a trap, it might be, you know, they have to roll a dexterity or something like that. But that's the idea. And I loved that, because when she was like, I was reading this danger sense, but I kind of interpreted it this way, like thinking of just the phrase danger sense. And I was like, it's not really how it works. And then like looking at primal knowledge, and she chose perception. I'm like, no, this makes sense. This is a dragonborn Tempest barbarian, somebody who has fought, somebody who is out there looking to hunt dragons. That's actually what this character's whole drive for. They are a dragon hunter. They found out about the dragon. That is like the main kind of story plot of the campaign that we're running. They want to go out and kill it and take its soul. So that's that's the plan. Yeah, I was super stoked about this whenever we brought that up, and it's one of those things where, like, looking at other a dragonborn that wants to go and collect dragon souls, that was the whole thing. So the character build in general is that she or sorry, not she, it's technically they they are a path of the cataclysm. So they're a path of the cataclysm barbarian, which is a homebrew one that I found online. And basically, as this barbarian, when you rage, you create this aura of destructive magic, and that aligns with a certain element. So blizzard is cold, flood is water, solar flare is the power of the sun, volcano is fire, so like radiant, tempest is lightning, volcano is fire. So one of the players in the Phandalin 5 game, he plays a warforged volcano barbarian, and this particular character, they wanted to play tabletop Skyrim, yeah. This particular character is a blue dragonborn tempest barbarian. And so that means that whenever they rage, they create this aura of lightning and thunder and wind. And we have actually allowed, I've allowed this character to kind of use that wind to like propel themselves with like a pole vaulting pull. Also to lift up the small character. There's a gnome in the group. So that's kind of the whole idea, but we have a mechanic that is going to be built up as these characters are playing, because I'm going to introduce opportunities for them to go and hunt other dragons. What they will be able to do is when they kill a dragon, they can perform a ritual to harvest its soul. And depending on the element of that dragon, they will be able to gain access to these other abilities. So if they kill the white dragon in Dragon of Icespire Peak, after finishing a long rest, they will be able to take the blizzard ability. And they'll have to swap it with Tempest. They can only have one active at any time. But this would give them that, like, that incentive to actually go out and hunt these dragons and give a purpose behind it. Their goal is to be like imbued with all of these dragon souls, and to return to her village, to where she comes from, and show that she accomplished this great task. I believe that she has to collect so many souls or something like that, but very much looking forward to it. And actually, funny enough, in the chat, in the Discord, we were talking about brown dragons today, sand dragons, and something like this is exactly what something like that would be for. So kill a brown dragon, get sandstorm, kill a you know, a white dragon, get Blizzard, kill a black dragon and get Blight. So red dragon, Volcano, really cool abilities that can play into that stuff. But yeah, I love that stuff of just like when your players, like when you allow your players to do something or they ask to do something, and just establishing that as a mechanic. And you don't even have to give it a reason in game, but just allowing your players to influence the game in that kind of a way is so powerful, especially to your players, for them to know that they have that extra level of, you know, emphasis in the game, you know, that they have, or not emphasis, influence in the game to kind of alter some of those things. And granted, you have to keep a lot of things, you know, you have to keep things within grounded terms, you know, making sure that whatever you do, you give it a reason, you have some explanation behind it. Always have a why is something that I always keep in mind. Okay, so I gotta do something up here. You know what? Oh, actually, wow. These will work perfect for what I had in mind of little pools of lava. That actually works really well. There we go. You know what? I'm actually pretty just happy with this, like the way that this is. I don't hate this at all. All right, cool. It's we've talked about other things, but man, this kind of came together pretty quickly. I pissed my gnome druid off in one of our sessions. Tell me about it. Please, tell me how you did that. I'm very curious. All right, I gotta move this up here. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna do it right there, actually. And they used a poison spray cantrip, which is fine, whatever. That takes their action. Okay. Let's point that up. Okay, so we got poison spray going. Then they casted Shillelagh and said they're making an attack with their club. Ooh. Okay. I already see the issue here. Yep, I see the issue here. I said, hey, that's not how that works. I'm sorry, but you casting poison spray took your action. Yes. Yes, 100%. Yep. Did they have an issue with the fact that they couldn't then attack? I gotcha. I gotcha. So, what's the spell I'm thinking of? Yeah. So, it's definitely one of those things It's definitely one of those things. For one, by raw, so rules is written, you can't cast 2 cantrips in the same turn. So, oh wait, no, wait, hold on. It's leveled. Sorry, it's leveled spells. So as long as it's not, then why is Shillelagh a bonus action? It doesn't give me a bonus action. And I was like, that isn't what a bonus action is. And it's a smaller spell. Yeah. So the reason why Shillelagh is a bonus action is because the intention of that spell is that you are going to cast that on your club or quarterstaff or whatever weapon. Technically it could be whatever, but your club or quarterstaff, and for a minute you get to use wisdom instead of strength. So you use that as a bonus action, and now you use your action to attack. That's the design of it, is that it's your bonus action spell cast and then your attack action. Something like spiritual weapon, on the other hand, is specifically worded that when you cast the spell, you make a melee spell attack. So not only is the bonus action the summoning of the particular weapon, the spiritual weapon, but it also allows it to make an attack. That is why Shillelagh is a cantrip. If Shillelagh allowed you to use a bonus action to enchant a weapon and then attack with that bonus action, it would be the most broken thing ever. And I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm gonna rules lawyer you because you're not. Yeah, and you know what? Unfortunately, sometimes you got to make that rolling. It's here's the way that I would probably here's one way that I might come to an agreement with somebody on. I can't say for sure that I absolutely would, but I could see of cast it instead of with a cantrip. You use a full action to burn a first level spell slot that lets you get that, that lets you enchant it and then get an attack. So you're using one action, you're burning a spell slot, but it allows you to enchant it and get the attack. So you're making those sacrifices, but you're also, building up into it. Or you could just cast it normally. It's a bonus action and then attack. Yeah, I've seen that happen. I've seen players where, they either don't understand the rules or they read certain parts of the rules and don't, they're very selective about the rules that they want to read and understand and just roll with that without knowing the nuance. So I can understand the frustration with that. And you know what? It's at the end of the day, as the DM, it is your call. Well, I didn't want to take anything away from the barbarian because they like to make 2 attacks. Like, that's a big part of their whole thing. Yeah. Well, and that's, you know what? And that's one of those things. Yeah, I fully understand you. Like I said, I stand by your decision to do, in that regard, because get a beefed attack and attack twice. Yeah, I mean, if he wants the ability to attack more than once, tell him to multi-class into fighter or learn the haste spell. I actually don't even know. Yeah, say druids can't even learn haste. So either tell him to multi-class into fighter and get extra attack so he can bonus action Shillelagh and then attack twice, or have him multi-class into artificer, sorcerer, or wizard so that he can eventually get the haste spell. Or actually was, There, no, that's Druidic Warrior. Let's see the details here. Yeah, or clerics, druids, land druid. So there we go. He's got to be a land druid, and he'll get access to whatchamacallit. It's fucking haste. What is it? Grasslands? There it is. Fifth level. He can get haste if he goes into the grasslands. But yeah, otherwise you made the right call. You know, you got to hold your players to some degree of restraint, because otherwise, yeah, it's exactly like you said. Why play a barbarian when you can just play a druid and, you know, break the design of a spell just so you get more stuff out of it. Stand by you, man. All right, so we're just gonna add that. That's gonna be our starting area, and there we go. Man, I gotta say, this looks so sketch. I wonder, can I add... like, I want to add a layer to be able to put like this stuff on so that it shows up under the walls. But I don't think it would do that. Like, I think because these are rooms, it would show up. It just wouldn't show up there. It would show up under everything else. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I want everyone to have fun, but like, yeah, 100%. I know that feeling through and through. I love, you know, one of my things is I love whenever my players feel powerful. Whenever they feel like they can do crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to have some standards to hold everyone to, because if you don't, it's just chaos. I'm going to kind of round out some of these edges a bit. Oh shit, I forgot that those were just basic walls. Fuck. All right, so we'll just kind of go over this room now that we actually have it built, and kind of give you the sense, an idea of how this particular dungeon, this particular sector is going to work. So these areas that you can see highlighted, or with all these like things, these are going to be the areas of superheated rock. And or you can let two players be named me and you. Yeah, god damn those two. So when the players walk into this dungeon, they're going to come up through this hallway. In this hallway, there are going to be pressure plates along this central path. There's going to be 5 of them. If they step on one of them, these statues are going to fire flaming shots at them. So they can avoid them by going into these superheated rock areas and, you know, avoid stepping on those plates, but risk making, you know, taking that fire damage. Now, it is also a play. Say you're a barbarian. Your constitution save is going to be higher than your dex, so it actually might benefit you just to walk through those outlying areas. Up next, we have room 130, a large pool of lava with segmented edges around the side. There is a huge fire elemental that lives inside of this pool of lava. So this is lava in here. The players will walk around up here, and in this chamber, this is where where those flaming slimes will be clung to the ceiling. There'll also be one up in this corner that will come down and attack them. So again, this back here, this is another pool of lava. So if they fall into that, or if they're pushed into that, you get that immediate 8d6 fire damage. Then up here, this is room 2-1. So this is where a series of stepping stones. So these are chains that kind of hold them together. So you can jump over to here, making a dex check. You can then help somebody, but if you stand on this for too long, it will start to sink into the lava and will also pull the other one down at the same time. Continuing on from there, you have a room filled with pools of lava, and in those pools of lava there are 2 magma octopuses. The magma octopuses can move from pool to pool by this underground network that connects all of them, so you do kind of risk moving through there. Over here you have to cross this 10-foot jump. This is actually risking falling into the lava there. And then in here, this is all superheated rock filling this chamber. So as the players are moving through here, they're going to risk that. They are risking that fire damage. And this is actually where those 2 fire snails are located. One is going to be blocking the path continuing forward. So they actually either have to kill the thing, which means they have to fight 2 of them, or push it out of the way because it's going to be sleeping. I wanted to at least give them something that wasn't going to be just combat. And in this last room, again, superheated rock. These are magma pools on the side, and this is where a group of magma mephits are just playing. They're kind of splashing around, and I'm going to have it where I'm going to roll like a d4 or something like that to see, do they splash magma onto the players? You know, because they're just playing. It's not even going to be a hostile thing. They're just goofing around. So it depends on the players how they want to deal with that. But in this wall, there is going to be a magma gem. And when you take that out, the whole chamber will start to rumble. As the players make their way back out, that is when the fire elemental in here is going to awaken and then attack the players. Now, once the fire, or once the fire elemental is killed, that will cause all magma within the chamber to turn to this superheated ground. That means that they'll just be able to cross over to leave the place right here instead of having to trek the whole way back around. But yeah, so that is the first room, or that is the first section. So I'm gonna add, I don't want a folder. I want a dungeon layer. And we need to number these. So we're gonna grab red lettering, and we're gonna bump this up to probably 64. And this is going to be room 129. Oh god, that's way too big. Okay, 30 works. 30 works. We'll make it 32. All right, so there we go. So we got 129. This is room 130. $131. And then now we're jumping over to room 21. 22. 2, 3. That's kind of hard to see, so I'm just going to put that down there. And finally, room 2, 4. So there we go. That is our first sector of floor 2, the elements. I'm going to move this just for the time being up to here. We're going to leave it like that. So yeah, then we'll build out from there. Like I said, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do all these others, but starting next week, or I mean, when we get back into this next week, we'll be moving on to Sector 2, which is, I guess I should ungroup this and actually, let's do it this way. Let's group this and we'll move this up to here. Yeah, there we go. Because honestly, I think one of the issues that I have with the other one is by having all the segments of the map separate, it's so much extra, and then I always have to edit them to get things right. So I might just continue doing it like this, where I actually just build it and then like go from there. Because I know going back to that's going to be a drag. So let me go ahead and save this. Because yeah, I'm gonna load this up. I'm gonna delete those other ones because I know that it always brings up that first map every time I do this. So we're gonna let this chug along here for a second, while I go over what next week's gonna be. So obviously the first one was fire, and next week is gonna be water. So this sector is filled with water, and there's a series of weights that need to be moved via raising and lowering the water level. And to those of you that know, you know what the Zelda water temple is. This is kind of the design that I want to go with. But kind of separating the players a little bit. So in the first room, there is 3 levers on the ground and a chest containing caps of swimming, and there's an air pocket in there. So even at the highest height, there is a, because basically there's going to be 2, like, I think it's like to every room. I'm gonna probably try and do it where you can either have like, or 3 heights, like water at the lowest, water at mid, and water at high. And the way that it's going to work is you can either raise it or lower it, and there's one that resets the weights. Whoever is in this first room is going to have to deal with monsters that are like mischievous monsters that are coming in trying to reset the weights while the others are going through it. Also, the caps of swimming do nothing except for keeping the player's hair dry. So they don't give you swimming speed. They don't let you breathe underwater. They just allow you to keep your hair dry. So that's a thing. Then from there, the first, technically the first room that holds puzzle is going to be a weight on the floor. So the room is kind of split in half, and there's this giant glass wall in between them. And there's a weight on one side and a trigger on the other, and there's this tunnel that goes underneath. Well, the weight is heavy enough that that you can like drop it down into this tunnel, but the water will raise it out. There's also a plug, there's a valve that will keep that tunnel blocked if the water level is raised. So you kind of have to make sure the water level is lowered, get it into this tunnel, move it across, and then raise the water level up in order to get it up to this trigger. Oh, that's right. I still had that set up for silence and solitude. But that's all I have. That was the room that I set up today for that one. So, like I said, this will work on next week. In fact, next week will actually be, you know what? As I sit and think about it, I may not be able to do a stream next week. Come to think of it, you should make them fight stuff underwater. Oh yeah, no, 100%. That'll be that'll definitely be the case. Do I only stream once a week? No. Actually, on this channel, I stream 3 times a week. So every Sunday, I stream one of 2 different D&D games. There is the Rime of the Frost Maiden game. Oh, my dog is hacking up a Cheez-It. There is the Rime of the Frost Maiden game, which that is going to be the game that would be the 12th, but we might be skipping that one, being that it's so close to Valentine's Day. A couple of my players have some stuff that they're doing, so we might have to postpone that one. But normally we do run that game on those weekends, and then on top of that, we also run a weekly game known as the Fandolin 5. It's on the other Sundays. We just ran that yesterday. So of those 2, those are every Sunday. And then we also here on my Twitch, there is this stream that I do every Monday night where we build up our dungeon. And then on top of that, I also do a Thursday night stream. Excuse me. I also do a Thursday night stream. It's not D&D, but it is my video game stream where it's called The First 15, and I play 3 games every week, and I play each one of them for just 15 minutes. And then I give them a rating based on how I think they are and how I think the games are. So yeah, not just 1 stream a week, but 3 on average. And then sometimes I throw in like a random one where if I'm working on D&D stuff, you know, like a D&D and chill, kind of like this. Imagine having a significant other to do stuff with close to Valentine's. You know what? Funny enough, my wife over in the other room, I would have no problem running D&D on that Sunday. It just so happens that one of my players is going out on that weekend. So my wife did play D&D at one time. She enjoys playing D&D, but she has a hard time playing when I'm the DM because she has a hard time taking me seriously, especially when I'm doing like goofy voices and stuff. So that's definitely a thing. You know what? I'm going to name this as I'm gonna make a new file that I deleted that other stuff on. This is gonna be Calendyr's Mega Dungeon Better. I don't think we're supposed to take you seriously. Yeah, well, you know, hey, take me seriously or not, no skin off my nose. I'll just kill all the NPCs you guys like. I mean, only playing the first 15 minutes is a fun idea. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was I've been enjoying that. I've been enjoying that ever since I started it, and really the main reason why I started doing it is because I have a bunch of games on Steam, and you know, there's tons of games on Xbox Game Pass that I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, would I play this? I don't know, like, and then I just don't. That was always the thing. It's like I think about it and then I don't end up playing it. So, not for broadcast. I've never heard of that. Let's look this up. Oh, it's an FMV game. Oh, it's from Tiny Build. Okay. Oh my god, I can already imagine the chaos with this. Dude, I love Tiny Build games. They are so good. Gravekeeper, I think I've played the one. Oh yeah, Potion Craft. We played that on there. I played Despot's game on my own time. Spider Heck I've played. We've played Tinykin. I thought about getting Undungeon before, so Kill with Fire. That's on Xbox. I know that. I think Hellpoint is as well. Oh, Streets of Rogue. Yeah, there we go. It's very chaotic. Like, the censoring is fun when the news anchors go off the rails and start. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Oh, that's okay. Guts and Glory as well. Yeah. Oh, Cluster Truck. I was just playing Cluster Truck the other day. I have it on Game Pass. He has his own. Yeah, I have my own rating system. So yeah, if you're in now that you're in the Discord, you can check out the first 15 in there. You'll see the games that we'll be playing next week, which is Olja, Alt 254, and Ruin Raiders. So always looking for games to be suggested. So I will definitely, I'll definitely consider this for the future. So thank you for that. But I think that's gonna do it for the dungeon tonight. I mean, we did good work tonight. So that is covered. We'll probably I missed the typing games. Yeah. I usually try and add the games to YouTube after the fact. So but like I said, I may or may not be doing a stream next week. I only say may not because I'm flying to Arizona next week and I'm leaving Tuesday morning. I gotta leave my house at like 5 o'clock. So I don't think I could I don't think I'd do well with driving out to my airport, which is about an hour away, on only a few hours, like 6 hours of sleep. So probably gonna skip it, or I might do it earlier in the day. Honestly, I could probably work with that. I might do my game earlier in the day, or might even move it to Sunday. If I'm not gonna have a D&D game that week, I might honestly just move it to Sunday. So I would probably prefer that. So keep an eye on that. I will be updating everybody in the chat whenever I decide on that. So that'll be oh crap. I completely forgot. So yeah, I know before we used to have the calendar back there on the wall that showed the day, and we were marking it off with every stream. It got too heavy. I had to take it down. It was just 12 wood panels, sitting back in that space right next to the stairs here in the tavern. So I did have to take it down, but I do have a nice little calendar that we're going to pull up. So let me go ahead and grab that. There we go. So there we go. This is now how we're going to track when each one of these streams is, and making sure that we're keeping up week by week with Dungeon 23. So that's where we'll keep track of that. Also gonna keep the blood stains up there. # we won. That's a it was hidden under it was under the counter here. So it was under here. It's same place that I got a little table over here that you guys can't see on the other side of the bar. That's where I keep my drinks and everything. So but yeah, so that's probably gonna do it for tonight. Man, it's been 2 hours already. Shoot. But thanks for joining me. as always, I really appreciate it. Those of you that are willing to come around and hang out and, you know, just sit here with me as we plug through this yearly challenge, Dungeon 23, every week. Got to be going at it. And, you know, thank you, Zingy, for joining. Thank you, Stacy, for hanging out. I know Glenn was in here for a little bit, so always good to have you guys. I know I brought it up before, but if anybody wants to, you know, whether you're watching this live, I know both of you are now in the Discord, so thank you so much for joining that. But if you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, or you're watching it on VOD on Twitch, check out that link above me, or it's right underneath all of the videos in my channel. There's a big button that says Discord. Click that, join the server, hang out. We got a lot of good people in there talking about D&D, talking about video games, just general stuff. So all kinds of things going on. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. I got to go work on some stuff for the superhero RPG that I play in. So that's what I'm going to go do. So you folks have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next week for either D&D or Dungeon 23 in the Crafting of Calendyr's dungeon. So see you guys then. Have a good night.